Welcome to the organic farming training where we're going to be looking at the fundamentals of organic farming. I'm so excited that you're part of this group which is going to be reshaping and redefining agriculture, especially in line with organic farming. You see, the decision you've made is a wise one because it is going to save your family, your finances, the economy, and also the environment and the soil. My name is Abel Hangoma, normally known as the Radical Farmer, and I'm going to be your instructor throughout this course. You see, I'm doing this out of passion, not out of training or maybe out of money, but I just love what I do. So I've done a lot of experiments in line with organic farming, and I've been doing this from my backyard, and also I've expanded, but I've been doing this like for 4 years, for the past 4 years, going to the 5th year. So I've come to learn a lot as I've been playing around with soil, playing around with crops, and I've come to learn that organic farming is something which is so enjoyable, something which is so lovely, something which is very possible, and I would want everyone to practice it. Those who love farming to practice organic farming. So you see, whatsoever you do, you should have a reason why you are doing it. So the first question we should be asking ourselves, why organic farming? Why should we grow crops organically? If you don't have a reason of doing something, you better not do it. Because if you find any challenges, you're going to be discouraged and you're going to stop. But if you are doing something with a reason, no matter what you meet on the way, you are going to go forward doing it. So I'm going to give you 4 principles why you should be an organic farmer. Number 1 is for health issues. Our bodies are built from what we eat. Our bodies, our tissues, our cells, our blood is made from the food we eat. So eating quality, healthy, nutritional, dense food is going to affect your health positively. And on the other side, meaning if you are not eating healthy food, your body also is going to be built from that food which doesn't have the needed minerals, the needed nutrients. One day I was asked a very interesting question. One of the students asked me a question. He said, what chemicals are in crops which are grown with non-organic methods? So I thought about it, then I said, okay, the answer I can give is that the very chemicals which are used to grow that crop are the very chemicals which are present in that crop, because those chemicals get into the system of the crop. So number 1, I talked about the issue of health. The reason why we should go organically is because of health issues for your family, for the people who are buying your crops, and even the healthy of the world. You see, right now people are very sick, and most of the sicknesses which they have come as a result of deficiencies of certain minerals and nutrients. It is as a result of the deficiency of the food which they eat. So provided they are eating food which is healthy, meaning even their bodies are going to be healthy. Number 2 is the issue of the environment, the contamination. You see, conventional agriculture contaminates the environment heavily. You talk about pesticides, you talk about herbicides, you talk about synthetic fertilizers which easily get into the soil faster than at a faster rate compared to the rate at which the crop can use it. So the point is that there is the contamination of the environment. So when you come to organic farming, because you're not going to be using those things, meaning you are helping in cleaning the environment. Then the third one is the issue of cost. Organic farming cuts a lot of inputs, meaning you're not going to be spending money on unnecessary things. Like, for example, you're not going to be buying seeds, you're not going to be buying fertilizer, you're not going to be buying pesticides. All these things you're going to be making yourself. You're just going to be recycling. You talk about organic seeds, you don't buy through and through, you just buy once and you keep on preserving the seed. Talk about organic fertilizer, you make your own fertilizer. So my philosophy is that I would want everyone to learn the art of creating their own things than buying. When you talk about pesticides, you should know how to deal with pests without going to a store. You look at this crisis, you see, like me, I don't have a problem if I can be growing for years and years, thousands of years, without going to the stores, because I've learned how to process things, I've learned how to make things, and these are things we are going to be looking at. And I believe that these things are going to help you too. So having given the reasons why, of which there are so many, but these ones I think they are more critical to the survival of a farmer. So on the other side, we're looking at also why you should get into organic, is that it is the preservation and making your soil sustainable, meaning your children, your grandchildren can use that soil. You see, conventional way of growing crops has got a tendency of destroying the soil to the extent that it becomes depleted of the necessary nutrients, and your children or even your grandchildren won't be able to use it because it has been destroyed. Because the soil is a living organism. There's life in the soil. A soil which doesn't support life cannot support the life of a plant. For that reason, there is need of caring for the soil, because it is our biggest capital in agriculture. You destroy the soil, you destroy farming, and you also destroy the future. So, hoping and having these whys answered, then we can proceed to say, what is organic farming? You know, it is a word you find on things which are not even organic. And one thing you should get clear is that not everything that is labeled organic is really organic. Man is so wicked, especially in this generation. They can be certified organic, yes, which is okay, but there are at times when regulations of precautions of organic farming are not followed. You cannot tell that this crop is organic just by looking at it. You cannot tell by smell or maybe by size that this crop is organic. The only way you can know that this crop is organic is when you yourself has grown it organically. Now, I'm not saying that you should not be buying organic products, that every organic product is not organic. But I can tell you the truth that there are some organic products which are labeled organic and they're not organic. So, then we have to answer the question, what is organic farming? Now, when you understand what organic farming is, it is going to help you understand even other things of which you're supposed to understand as an organic farmer. So number one is organic farming in simpler terms, because we are here to make organic farming super easy. It's not supposed to be complicated, I believe. It's supposed to be understood by everyone. So in my own understanding, that organic farming is the growing of crops, or maybe raising of crops or animals or birds using natural ways. Now, here we're not just talking about not using fertilizer, not using pesticide. We are talking about the soil itself being disinfected from chemicals. It is supposed to be natural. It's supposed to be in its natural state. And you don't have to worry if you have been using chemicals in your field. We are going to learn about the transition process, how you can move from conventional way of growing crops to organic farming. Then when you talk about organic farming, we are also talking about the issue of the seed. What type of seed are you planting? Is it hybrid? Is it GMO? Is it heroin, which is the organic one? So it is a process from the soil to the seed. Then what type of pesticides are you using? Are you using natural ones or are you using artificial ones? Then we come to the issue of fertilizers. What kind of fertilizers are you using to feed your crops? So putting all these things into consideration, then the definition of organic farming is complete. It begins with the soil, the seed, the pesticides, and also the fertilizers. It's not just one thing. So you've heard of things which say no, 50% organic, 75%, 100%. But we are looking at the holistic, the complete one, because we want the whole lot of it. We want our food to taste better in completeness, and we want them to have a lot of nutrients. So, you know, when you are getting into something, you should understand that current trends should be also leading and guiding you. When you look at the current trends in agriculture, you find that conventional farming has brought a lot of disaster. You see, conventional farming started using chemicals and pesticide, especially after World War II. So there was a lot of destruction, there was a lot of developments, and people were calmed because looking at the harvest. So short-term results were good, but long-term effects were very disastrous. No wonder right now there is a call to go back to organic farming. The world is promoting organic farming. Looking at the issue of the climate change, the contamination and the pollution, all these are coming as a result of the methods we are using in agriculture. The agriculture sector contributes to about 26% of carbon emission into the atmosphere, and this is bringing a hazard. So when you understand the current trends, you are going to know that this is what you're supposed to do. I remember reading a verse from the Bible, it must have been in Chronicles, where the Bible says, "But as of the children of Issachar, these were men who had an understanding of the times to tell Israel what they're supposed to do." So when you know the times, you have a better understanding of what you are supposed to do. So looking at the trends, right now is the right time to become an organic farmer because things are not okay. And choosing to be an organic farmer, you are solving a lot of problems. Then we have to understand the history of organic farming. When did organic farming start? You see, like man says it started around the 20th century, somewhere around especially it is practiced in Australia, India and China. So that is what man says. But in my study of history, I've come to realize and understand that organic farming dates back to creation. When you go back in Eden, Adam and Eve being in the Garden of Eden and them being the first organic farmers. So you find that these guys were not using chemical fertilizers. They were not using synthetic fertilizers and pesticides. Their food was growing naturally. So you find that they had, I would say that they didn't have problems of the kind of problems we have. But looking at the history, it dates back to the time of creation. At the very, very beginning of all things, these people, they were organic farmers. The fruits they were reaping were bountiful. They were controlling things naturally. The taste was awesome. You find that what they were eating was building their bodies. As a result, those people were they were huge, they were giants, they were doing extraordinary things. What we can't see with our eyes, they were seeing. Because their eyes were so powerful. When you talk about their memory, it was excellent. And now there is something very fun. Do you know that the kind of food you eat also affects how much your brain can save? How healthy your brain is going to be. Like you see behind me, I've got a lot of books. I love reading. So the thing is, a book is an evidence that we cannot keep those things. We easily forget. So we have to keep a book so that we can remember some things because we can easily forget. But those guys, because of what they were eating, their memory was so powerful to an extent that they could share information from one generation to another generation. So one man said, one way to liquidate or destroy a people is to wipe out their history. When you do that, they won't know where they are coming from, where they are, and where they are going. So when we don't know the origin of organic farming and its benefit, you find that it is very easy to be destroyed. There are so many weapons which can be used to destroy people. One of them is the biological weapon, and also food can be used as a weapon to alter people. Like for example, with GMO. And last time, when I went to the gene bank at Mount Makuru, when I was asking the difference between hybrid and GMO, I was very shocked to find that the similarities the difference are very, very slim, because they get into the DNA and alter and change some genes. So when you change some genes, you find that when you eat that food and you bring it into your body, there are so many things that are going to happen. And I don't know if you've observed, but I've been very observant. When you look at the growth rate of the children nowadays compared to the growth of children maybe 20 years back or 30 years back, there's a very, very huge difference. When you talk about the disease resistance of the children of nowadays, there's a very, very huge difference. Let me not get into that, but the point is that the history of organic farming dates back in Eden. So when we apply the principles which the Adam and Eve were using then, we can also get the same results, and we can also get the same healthy and also mental benefits. Then proceeding from there about the history of organic farming, we are going to look at the possibility of growing crops organically. People say it's not possible to grow crops organic on large scale. They say, no, you can only do it on a small scale. No, this thing is not possible. The population is too much. They give all such kind of lame excuses. Now, here's my philosophy. When you talk about growing crops, they say you can grow a small amount of crops organically. Now, the thing is, if you can grow one crop, what can stop you from growing 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 1,000? Now, here's the principle. When you grow one, you manage it. You grow two, you manage them. So the thing is that you have to treat each crop as if it is the only crop in the garden. So meaning you can grow 1,000 crops, but make sure that you treat each crop as if it is the only crop in the garden. You give it special attention, you give it proper watering, you give it proper pruning, you give it proper fertigation. All these things, you find that each crop is going to be well taken care of, and as a result you're going to manage them. You know, they say quality is better than quantity. So it's the issue of growing what you can manage. Don't grow what you can't manage, but make sure that you attend to each and every crop. So meaning it's very possible to grow, to go organic. If others are doing, what can stop you? Like right now, me, I'm an organic farmer. Yes, when I was starting, I was meeting challenges, but the more the soil becomes healed, the more the soil becomes used, the more I build the soil life, then the more it can support what I'm putting in there. And as a result, it becomes very super easy. And I can assure you that organic farming is far much easier and cheaper compared to the conventional way of growing crops. So the point is that you have to manage every crop as if it is the only crop in the field. Manage every plant as if it is the only plant in the field. As a result, you're going to manage as an organic farmer, and you can even go commercial, and the demand is too much. So when you talk about the possibility, I have assured you that it's very possible, because we are doing it and others are doing it. Now, you don't have to move by the majority, because everyone is doing what everyone is doing, and as a result they are getting the result which everyone is getting. So when you try to do something different, contrary to the majority, you find that you're always going to be on the winning side. But just be persistent, be determined, and know exactly what you are doing. You see, the Bible also talks about the issue of that where there's no vision, the people perish. Now we're going to look at the future of organic farming. What does the future hold for organic farmers? So the point is very simple. The world is coming back to the right track, because they've realized that where we went, we have reaped deadly results. So they are coming back to organic farming. So those who are going to start now, they're going to be readers in these lines. Those who are going to start now, they are going to establish firms which are going to stand out when others have realized that this is the way to go. So the future is organic farming. So you have made a wise decision to become an organic farmer. People are sick and they are looking for healthy food so that they can be well. The world is contaminated. They are looking for better ways of growing crops without contaminating the environment. So all these things, they're coming back to organic farming. So the future is organic farming. So the last question we are going to be looking at in the introduction is, what can you grow organically and what can't you grow organically? So there are people say you can grow this organically, you can't grow that organically. Now the point is, you can grow anything organically. As long as it is available, it is edible, you can grow it organically. So it's just a matter of understanding what you're growing and how you can grow it and how you can take care of it. So the key thing is on buying the original seeds. So wherever there is an organic seed, you can grow it organically. Hybrid and GMO seeds are more susceptible to diseases They are more susceptible to some certain climates. But with organic ones, they easily adapt to the environment and they become disease resistant if you are doing and applying the right principles. So this makes the end of the introduction, and we are looking at going organic, looking at the possibilities, the origin, the challenges which you are going to meet on the way. It's very true that you're going to meet some challenges, but they're not beyond solution. Everything that you're going to meet is there. Yes, there are challenges, but we're going to learn about the transitional process on what you're going to meet on the way, and that is going to prepare you on how you can handle such issues. If you have got any question, any concern, and maybe you've got any addition, you can comment, you can email me, you can send me a WhatsApp message, or even just write here in the question and answer section. You can ask a question so that we can get on the same level. And I'm going to put a quiz which you are supposed to go through and see how far you have gone. You test yourself. The results are going to be automated, and I hope this is going to help you. See you in the next lesson. This was the Radical Farmer and Organic Farming Made Easy. Have a good day.